Now, MPP's Member of Parliament for Malaysia South and member of the Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee, Nana Eje Bafo Ewa, is questioning the Electoral Commission's credibility over its decision to rerun elections in 19 polling stations in Ablekuma North. He says the EC had earlier maintained that only 3 polling stations where results were outstanding, and the sudden change undermines public trust. He believes the Commission is yielding to political pressure and suggested the Commission had handed itself over to the NDC, referring to a recent call by the party's national chairman for the removal of the EC's top leadership.
The EC again issued a press statement. Issued a press statement, and I'll, very respectfully, with your leave, I will take you through it. And it's titled Press Release, Update on the Collation of Polling Station Results for Ablekuma North Constituency, dated 17 January 2025. The Electoral Commission wishes to bring to the attention of the general public that following the order of the High Court, 4th January 2025, directing the Commission to continue the collation of polling station results and declare winners of the 4 outstanding parliamentary elections. The only constituency still outstanding is Ablekuma North. It is instructive to state that the order of the High Court mandated the Ghana Police to provide the Electoral Commission security to conduct the collation of the polling station results for the outstanding constituencies. Samson, this is where I find very important and for our discourse. Since the collation of the polling station results for Ablekuma North took place following the court order on the 8th of January 2025 at the old head office of the Commission. However, the exercise was not completed because 3 out of the 281 polling station results were outstanding. This is the press release the EC put out there. Consistently, the EC never raised any issue about 19 polling stations. In fact, a letter written by the NPP to the Electoral Commission dated 3rd of June 2025, requesting compliance with the court order by completing the collation. The EC, in its response dated 11th of June 2025, affirmed its commitment to the court's order to complete collation, proceeded to state, again in that letter, that out of the 281 polling stations, there were only 3 polling stations outstanding. Prior to this letter, as you repeated on the show this morning, one of the deputy commissioners, Mr. Bosman Asare, had also come to Parliament.
Repeated that 3 was
on oath. On oath.
Okay.
So how did 3 transmogrified into 19? How? Why you want to do negotiated settlement? It is different from coming up with contrary facts. They are two distinct. They are distinct. If it is the case that as a result of the stalemate, which in my humble view highlights the weaknesses within our system, right? And students of political science and constitutional law may take it up. How, notwithstanding the powers of the police in our laws, the extent of executive powers may actually constrain it. Those are academic things that we may want to examine in the classroom with the greatest of respect. But what it is really is that the EC has played in the hands of the NDC. As to what they want to do to them, only God knows. But they have played it into their hands. Because something, you can, as a state institution, nothing stops you from leading a negotiated settlement. Nothing stops you from calling the parties prior to the meeting, even reaching out to them, right, separately before the meeting.
But you have both taken an entrenched, position.
You can always negotiate. You cannot. Politics is about consensus building. It's about negotiations. It's about always rising above, those very respectfully below, and showing leadership.
Well, he also revealed that the new Patriotic Party will take legal action against the Electoral Commission over its decision to rerun the 2024 parliamentary election in 19 polling stations within the Ablekuma North constituency.
We are going to court.
On Monday, or you have already filed on Thursday?
My update is that we are going to court. What step we have taken since yet to come to my attention. But as you know, going to court involves drafting processes, and being informed in terms.
We're told that lawyers have been instructed to do what they have to do.
Exactly.
Right. So 7 months on, if you go to court again, you're likely to drag this. Don't you want a quick process that brings this matter to an end?
Samson, I am always worried when state institutions are caught up in this situation, particularly those that our democracy very much relies upon, the sustainability of our democracy very much relies upon, are caught up in this situation. I really get worried because I want to see the growth of these institutions, especially against the backdrop of the exhibited intention of the NDC, which found expression recently in an interview on this, in your station, on another program, by the chairman of the NDC, that the EC, the top 3 arrowheads at the EC must go. And so when they are caught up in this situation, I really get worried. And it appears to me that the EC has shot themselves in the foot.
Away from that, tertiary education in Ghana is set to receive a major boost with the launch of the no-fee stress policy by the President Mahama-led administration. Speaking at the launch of the initiative in the Eastern Regional Capital, Koforidua, President Mahama said that under this policy, students with disabilities and public tertiary institutions will not pay fees from first year to final year. Tertiary students will also receive increased student loans. An aspect of the initiative, the payment of academic fees for all first-year students, has already commenced, with 15,000 students having received payment. The president says no student will be denied access to tertiary education again on the basis of fees. Presidential Affairs correspondent Maxwell Agbagba reports.
The crowd in the auditorium roars as President Mahama arrives for the official launch of the no-fee stress initiative. Outside, hundreds of students from various tertiary institutions break into splinter groups singing their favorite Jama songs. Many of the students I spoke to said they initially thought the no-fee stress initiative was just another campaign promise. But today they are thrilled that the president has delivered on it. Education Minister Haruna Iddrisu announced that the Ghana Education Trust Fund will beginning next year double its allocation to the Students' Loan Trust Fund from 70 million to 150 million cedis to further support students.
I will next week on your behalf, in honor of one of your campaign promises, lay the Scholarship Authority Bill before Parliament to deal with the nepotism, cronyism that was associated with the award of scholarship. Mr. President, that next year, the GET Fund will double its allocation to the Student Loan Trust from 70 million to 150 million. to support students who may want to access it further.
In his speech, President Mahama said academic user fees have been cleared for an initial 15,000 students under the no-fee stress policy, with verification and payment processes underway for others who have registered.
Mr. Chairman, as we were told, 150,000 students have so far accessed the portal. And for those of you who have not accessed the portal, you better start doing so now. Out of this, 34,500 have been validated and awaiting payment. And out of that number, as at yesterday, 15,000 students had received their alerts for payment. This is just the beginning. And today, with our student educators, parents, and development partners, I'm pleased to declare the no-fee stress policy officially launched. Let it be known across this land that from today, no Ghanaian child will be denied entry into tertiary education simply because they cannot afford the academic fees. This is a path to a more just society. This is how to build a future where no dream is deferred and no potential is wasted.
He listed some of the components of the no-fee stress policy as the no academic fees policy, the student loan plus initiative, free tertiary education for persons with disabilities, increased loan amounts, among other interventions.
The no academic fees policy. Under this policy, the government will cover the academic-related fees for all first-year students admitted to public tertiary institutions. Then the second of the no-fee stress policy is the student loan plus initiative. This is a restructured financing model that provides enhanced support for continuing students with expanded eligibility and simplified access. And as you were just informed, next year, the money allocated to the student loan scheme is going to be doubled. And so you will also expect a doubling of your student loan. Then we also have the free tertiary education for persons with disability. To ensure full inclusion and compliance with our obligations under the Disability Act, all persons with disability shall have free tertiary education from first year until they complete. And as I told you already, there will be increased student loan amounts which will reflect the real cost of tertiary education, and it will be adjusted annually for inflation. We also have diversified student funding mechanism, including targeted scholarships for underrepresented communities and disciplines that are vital to our national development. In addition, students in fee-paying programs without regular track equivalents will receive a reimbursement of up to 2,500 cedis for their academic fees. Ladies and gentlemen, this policy is complementary, it's not substitutionary.
Now, President Mahama has disclosed that the Attorney General, Dominic Ayine, is drafting a proposal for cabinet consideration to ensure victims of recent past electoral violence receive fair compensation. Addressing participants at the post-2024 elections evaluation dialogue, the president stressed that those responsible for electoral violence will face justice. He also said he is committed to implementing the recommendations of the Constitution Review Committee.
Elections are by nature high-stake events. They are contests of ideas and ideologies, often influenced by deeply held convictions and competing visions for national development. While Ghana once again demonstrated its democratic resilience in the 2024 elections, culminating in a largely peaceful transfer of power, we cannot ignore that the process was marred by isolated acts of violence in some constituencies. Let me use this platform to unequivocally condemn these acts of violence and call for swift accountability for the perpetrators. I requested that the IGP expedite investigations into these acts of electoral violence and bring the perpetrators to justice. The Attorney General is also working on a report to be presented to Cabinet for adequate compensation to be paid to victims and relatives of those affected by the violence. Let me take this opportunity to commend the Electoral Commission, our security services, civil society organizations, political parties, and the electorate for their collective role in ensuring that Ghana's democratic credentials remain intact after the 2024 election. But we must go further. Our political differences must never become tools for division, mistrust, or violence. The disbandment of party vigilante groups through the passage of the Vigilantism and Related Offences Act 2019, Act 999, was a step in the right direction, and it has reduced politically motivated violence to some extent. The National Peace Council and its partners have built upon this legal framework to roll out public education campaigns, strengthen the capacity of electoral management bodies, and mobilize youth and civil society actors to promote peace before, during, and after elections. And let me stand and assure you that I'll do everything in my strength and my power to ensure that the recommendations of the National Constitutional Review Committee are implemented.
At the same forum, the National Peace Council put forward several key proposals, including recommendation to reduce the president's appointing authority. Here's Chairman, Most Reverend Emmanuel Fiano, outlining the council's recommendations.
Your Excellency, the following recommendations were made at this year's post-elections dialogue. 1. Reform the appointing authority and power of the executive president. For example, the appointment of the Chief Justice, the appointment process of the Council of State, the appointment of the Inspector General of Police, appointment of metropolitan, municipal, and district chief executives, etc. 2. Reduce the influence of the president in the partisan appointment of the chairperson of the Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission is appointed on the advice of the Council of State. This advice must be applied perfectly, and the eligibility criteria should be complex and robust, and enhance the independence and credibility of the Electoral Commission. 3. The moment to review the 1992 Constitution is now. We have made 2 attempts. We need strong political will to implement the recommendations that will come out of the current Constitutional Review Committee to help us cure the challenges of the 1992 Constitution.
Now, the minority in Parliament are demanding that government puts before the House a law to guide the implementation of the 24-hour economy. A policy which was central plank in the NDC's 2024 campaign was launched this week, with private entities to receive incentives, including tax breaks, if they implement a 24-hour shift. MP for Meshia South, Nana Ejay Bafo, says the law is necessary to prevent abuses.
We should be grateful if the venerable majority leader would take steps to make available to this House the legal framework governing all these entrepreneurship programs, the 24-hour economy, the Ejumara program, and all those that were approved in this year's budget. Mr. Speaker, the reason being that various entrepreneurship programs have run in this country. The country has expended a lot of money on these programs. Oftentimes, Mr. Speaker, the results are difficult to measure. Scandals have broken as a result, Mr. Speaker, because there is no legal framework governing them. And Mr. Speaker, I am inspired and guided on this path for a call to a legal framework to govern these programs by an article which was written by the majority leader, where he said that oftentimes because of discretion, extensive discretion, which are given to the persons that run these programs, which is why we don't see the results that we are supposed to see, which is why there are sometimes corrupt outcomes, Mr. Speaker. And so it is important the majority leader is inspired by his own article and ensure that we have a legal framework governing these programs to.
Meanwhile, the minority leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin argues that the 24-hour economy policy by the NDC is a public relations stunt.
Now you say that the 24-hour economy policy will require 4 billion. Meanwhile, you've only a paltry sum of 300 to 400 million in public funding by way of commitment. And you say the rest is on a private sector investment promises. Very vague. Very vague. You go on a campaign platform to create the impression that you have something of value. Then you come with a vague promise that the rest is private sector. Meanwhile, there are no incentives for the private sector. Since they came into office, they should share with us a single incentive they've introduced for the private sector. Even the 1D, 1F policy, you've cancelled it. Then you say the rest of it is coming from the private sector. I want to ask the government, and I want Minister, Leader of Government Business to take this on board. The heavy dependence on the PPPs and the SPVs without clarity on structure, risk sharing, or funding sources makes this vague. So they should come again. 2, non-alignment with Ghana's debt sustainability plan and the IMF program still makes this policy vague. No medium-term fiscal framework or concrete revenue mobilization strategy to support this program makes it vague. The risk of off-balance sheet liability that could burden taxpayers also makes this vague. Mr. Speaker, we in the minority see this as a mere PR tool to distract from real-time economic hardship and win public goodwill.
Well, but Mahama Yarega fired back at the minority leader, insisting the 24-hour economy has the potential of revitalizing Ghana's economy and making it export-driven instead of import-dependent. He also explained that the enabling legislation for the policy will be presented to Parliament in the coming days. Well, let's get on to Zoom now and continue with this conversation, and we'll bring you that sound from the majority leader, Mahama Yarega, who's been arguing strongly for the 24-hour economy policy that has been launched by the government. And we'll bring you that now. Well, we'll bring you that sound later, but moving on now, Joe News is learning that consultations with a range of civic and legal stakeholders, including religious leaders and human rights advocates, are underway in a bid to petition President John Mahama to grant clemency to embattled CEO of defunct Capital Bank. And Accra High Court in 2023 imposed a 15-year jail term on the founder of defunct Capital Bank, William Ato Essien, for stealing over 90 million cedis belonging to the bank. However, based on what he described as a miscarriage of justice and worsening health conditions affecting Mr. Essien, Dr. John Appiah, the head of mission for the Commonwealth Enterprise and Investment Council, has announced plans to spearhead national support for the release of the embattled banker. And he joins me now on Zoom for more on this very demand they are making to the president. Mr. John Appiah, I mean, the ground on which you intend to petition the president revolves around what you term as justice and a miscarriage of justice and worsening health conditions affecting Mr. Essien. I mean, can you justify this?
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me on the show. I think my role with the Commonwealth is twofold. I'm the head of missions for the Enterprise and Investment Council, which is the business arm. And I'm also a member of the board of directors for the Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative, the Africa office. So I think I'm speaking both from a business point of view, as someone, Ato Essien was the founder of the Defined Capital Bank, and I'm speaking from the point of view of a human rights point of view. I think I've been privileged to see the case in its entirety. And the reason I'm very much behind this is not about, we're not playing politics. I think the support is from all sides of government. It's about the release or the pardon. For specifically, it's just to petition the president to reopen the case and let judgment be made according to what he deems right. I think just listening to your news, the president, this is his legacy term, where he's doing a lot for the economy, and we're hoping that Ato Essien's case will be one.
Hello, Mr. Appiah. Seem to have lost him very briefly there, but he is part of a group of individuals who are looking to get the president to grant some clemency to Mr. Ato Essien, who has been jailed for what the state believes to be stealing of some 19 million Ghana cedis, 90 million Ghana cedis belonging to the bank, and we are trying to get him more, of which we understand that he has paid some, but there's still some money outstanding, and his health seemed to have worsened, and they are asking the president to grant him some clemency. We understand he's returned now. Mr. Appiah, I mean, first, you're making the argument that you believe, based on what you've seen, that his trial didn't go well. What have you seen based on which you are convinced that the trial didn't go well, and you're asking the president to grant some clemency so that the matter could be retried? All right, well, we'll take a very quick break. You're watching the midday news here on Joe News. We'll take a very quick break, and we'll come back. We'll continue with that conversation and that very developing story where a group of people are asking the president to help free Mr. William Ato Essien. Well, we'll come back. Let's return to that very developing story where some individuals are asking the president to show clemency to Mr. William Ato Essien, the embattled former founder of Capital Bank. Mr. John, thank you very much for returning. I was asking you about what you have found. You claim you've seen the trial, and you believe that the trial didn't go well. Can you share with us some specifics which you have come across based on which you're convinced that the trial is a miscarriage of justice?
Thank you very much. I think my words were not that the trial didn't go well. My words were that the foundation on which the trial or the investigation was flawed, and I've seen the evidence of it. And what we're asking for is for the reopening of the case, and to see the actual merit of the case. It's like saying you've built a house and the storm has come and the house is broken down. The roof is intact, the doors are intact, the window is intact. You're not going to say the problem is with the roof, or the problem was with the quality of the windows or the doors. It's a structural problem. So I think before we even talk about the trial, which is the roofing stage, we should talk about the foundation that was set. And the foundation is on which everything rests. And that is why I'm asking for a reopening of this case,
well,
to see the actual merit.
Yeah, I mean, you also talk about his health, and, is there any communication from either himself or the family that his health is indeed deteriorating?
I have seen him personally. I visited him personally on multiple occasions, and his health has deteriorated tremendously. It has. I'm not privy to share personal information unless it is authorities given by him, but it is very, very, very bad. And I think a reopening of this case, if the president instructs the Attorney General or whoever to open this case, all those facts will be very clear. If he was at 90% when he went in, I'm sad to say he's at about 5% now. So it's very, very bad.
I mean, how do you respond to the fact that Mr. Ato Essien has the option to avoid jail, but his delay in settlement has cost him dearly, because it's why his health has deteriorated. Now he's been asked to pay, but he has not been able to, provide the money.
And I think this takes me back to the metaphor I gave earlier on, that, the trial happened, he was supposed to make some payment, there was a delay in payment. But the real question is not on the delay in payment, which is the roof. The real question is, how did this case start? On what evidence was his trial built? That's the foundation. And I think the reopening of the case goes down to the foundation. What was the foundation on which the entire case was begun? That is what we are asking for a pardon for. What happens after the fact, I think, is very much based on what happened in the beginning.
Well, you also mentioned that you are doing a number of consultations regarding this petition. Can you give us a hint of some of the individuals or members of the society that have bought into this initiative by you?
I think you should not only be a journalist, I think you should be a lawyer as well. I like how you're pushing me to give you names and information. Unfortunately, I'm not at liberty to disclose the names of or information of those who are pushing for it. But I'm happy to say that this morning, for instance, I've seen that the broadcaster KSM, for instance, is also petitioning, or also interested in asking the president for a pardon for Ato Essien. And he would definitely be one of the numbers. We're trying to sign on key members of society from all walks of life, but key members of society, which represent every day that Mr. Ato Essien has been in prison. Up to today, I believe is around 650 days, or around between 630 and 650 days or so that he's been in prison since 2022, October 2022. And each signatory will represent a day that he's been in prison on the day that we actually send the petition to the president, which is going to be sometime next week. We're just being advised by our lawyers when to do that.
All right, Mr. John, thank you very much for your time. And that's Mr. John. He's part of the group that are looking to petition the president to restart the case involving the founder of Capital Bank, Mr. William Ato Essien. Moving on, the Ghana Police Service has arrested 2 individuals claiming to be national security operatives and 3 others during a major operation targeting illegal mining activities inside the Jimira Forest Reserve in the Ashanti region. The suspects were picked up in the forest enclave during a dawn swoop conducted by a combined team of police and Forestry Commission officers as part of renewed efforts to clamp down on illegal mining, which continues to devastate forest and water bodies. And Abuachi Yadom has more in the following report.
The joint anti-galamsey swoop by the Ghana Police Service and the Forestry Commission led to the invasion of the Jimira Forest Reserve, which has been taken over by illegal mining operatives. The activities of the illegal miners have left large swathes of the once thriving forest striped bare with deep mining pits, destroyed vegetation and polluted water bodies, now posing grave environmental and social risk. During the police operation, 5 individuals were arrested. Kofi Ade confirmed being an illegal miner.
But you only true. But only say you true, so we say so sense as an Augusto. My name is Director. But all sense I say
I engage in illegal mining, but I don't do it here. I only came to see my sister. I know it's not good to do illegal mining. I know it's destroying our lands, but this is what our elders did to survive.
Why concession now? Yes, Ojuma. Concession now, yes, Ojuma.
He says the Ojuma who be.
But two
of the arrested individuals claim to be operators of the national security deployed to watch over the illegal mining sites. Musa Isaka spoke to Joy News, claiming he had the authorization of the Ashanti Regional Security Coordinator.
Last 3 weeks, this is what.
For the past 3 weeks now, Baba joining national security.
Yeah, say I'm sure.
It's area more na mo share galam say for no so. It's we national security I will share galam say for no so.
I am part of the national security and I'm in charge of overseeing this illegal mining site. I called my operations manager and Captain Jabari to ask about this police operation, but they know nothing about it. Captain Jabari told me to come here to see what is happening.
And me ba operation commander say I feel no ba office. And see me kutomo me ko here say o mo free.
You say Captain Jabari na kasa.
Me no pa me no akasa. Was when him say a man for Baha. Police operation commander was when him say man for Baha. Now say membra.
Meanwhile, illegal mining continues in major forest enclaves in the Ashanti region, with the ongoing police soup expected to impound on the illegality.
So this is the Jimra Forest Reserve. Now, for the past 6 months, the Forestry Commission have confirmed their inability to come into the forest reserve. During our observation, we realized that this forest reserve has been taken over by illegal miners.
The police have confirmed that preliminary investigations are underway to verify the identities of the 2 suspects claiming to be national security operatives. They have since been transferred to the Ashanti Regional Police Command. For Joy News, Nana Bochidankwa Kumasi.
Now, the impact of illegal mining on cocoa production in Ghana has been very severe, with several hectares of cocoa farmlands destroyed in the quest for gold. The menace has contributed immensely to the loss of several tons of cocoa beans on a yearly basis. In a bold move to protect their livelihoods, cocoa farmers under the Esunafo Cooperative Cocoa Farmers Union have started mobilizing in groups to drive away illegal miners who are destroying farmlands in the area. Emmanuel Edu Jemfi has more.
During the annual general meeting of the Esunafo North Cooperative Cocoa Farmers Union at Goso in the Hafo region, Emmanuel Sapon, the union's president, highlighted the role of farmers in the fight against illegal mining.
The Galamsey issues. The farmers are empowered to a extent that when they get any hints of people coming to dig the ground for gold, they organize themselves and then quickly invite the union. And then we also approach the disassembly and then the police. And immediately they take action and then they go to drive them away from the societies. So some happened at Fiapiase. The people there came to us and then we all joined hands and then we drove them away.
He has been sharing the impact of illegal lumbering in the area.
Government is doing well, supplying us seedlings, 3 seedlings. Our partners are also doing likewise. But the fate of the 3 in future is what I am always thinking about. If we don't take any drastic measures to mitigate this canker, the trees, when it gets to 5-6 years, it will fall down and then they will go back to square one.
The president of the union also enumerated the impact of the association on farmers in the region.
Themselves, we have established a mutual fund support scheme that supports the farmers in time of need. To those of the farmers who pledge their cocoa farms for money, we have started to bring back to pay, and then the farmers get their cocoa farms back. And then they get loans. Some of them have been able to pay for the fare for the awards to abroad. Others are using the funds for universities to pay fees for their university awards.
Cocoa has been the backbone of Ghana's economy for ages, projecting the country on the world map. Protecting our forests and farmlands is a civic duty for everyone. Reporting from Goso in the Ahafo region for Joy News, Emmanuel Edujemfi.
Now, as erratic weather and shrinking rainfall hit farmers hard, scientists are pushing for intercropping as a lifeline. A practice which involves mixing cereal crops with nitrogen-fixing plants like P&P boosts soil health, improves yields, and shields farms from climate shocks. Emmanuel Bright Kweku has more in today's episode of Climate Focus.
In the last farming season, Ghana witnessed yet another unprecedented long dry spell, destroying nearly 1 million acres of land. Thousands of farmers in 8 regions of the country lost their source of livelihood as they watched their hard labor bear no fruit.
Afibia yado anobaya eya kama ba afiwe yado normally na egusu.
Every year we get beautiful harvests, but this year hasn't been good. It rains heavily during June-July, but not this year. The plants have failed to grow. This year seems no different. The rains came in late and some farmers are already counting their losses. Farmers in Ijua, one of Ghana's food baskets, are reeling under the impact of climate change.
And so now best start a full crowd will be Diana. And say normal, but we decide. Now we decide not try to bore council so.
It's expensive preparing the land. In the end, if you don't get anything, it hurts.
In fact, I feel so soon as any see a D can't tell my Timmy Quay, no. A Saturday, I come by 3 weeks. I better talk a crabby. The man no buy an
But they may soon find relief. At the Crops Research Institute's outstation in the locality, farmers growing on large, vast tracts of lands have gathered to find solutions to their troubles. Scientists from the Research Institute are exposing them to a climate-smart farming practice of intercropping cereals and legumes. On a parcel of land, maize, a major staple grown by the farmers here, have been cultivated together with a leguminous shrub, pigeon pea. This sustainable farming practice enhances resilience to climate variability, improves resource use efficiency, and reduces greenhouse gas emissions. Dr. Eric Owusu-Dankwa is an agronomist.
So this is just 3 months old. Give it a year, it becomes like almost a tree. And it gives shade. Shading is very important when there is no rains to conserve moisture and to be able to help the crops which are growing with it. So these are some of the adaptation strategies. Also, because it's a fast-growing tree, one of the problems or the gases which is causing climate change is carbon. This is able to tap carbon from the atmosphere into its tissues. So it's able to lock it and it's able to reduce it, and that is good for climate change mitigation.
By a brami driano, and so much musa. So, Jina, Bruni, say, one so santo and as I come.
I grew my maize with the pigeon pea. They grew beautifully. If it had rained heavily, I would have made a bountiful harvest.
Now, Ghana's upstream petroleum sector has reached a major milestone following the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition's announcement of the formal submission of a declaration of commerciality for the Eban Akoma oil and gas discoveries in Cape 3 Point Block 4. Speaking to Joy Business, Executive Director of the Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy, Benjamin Insia, urged government and stakeholders to adopt a vertical business model to fully maximize the benefits of the oil sector?
I think as a country, we need a vertical business model where we integrate our upstream to our downstream. It's something that we failed over the years. And when we're able to create that particular vertical model, I believe that Ghana will get a full potential of the oil sector. For example, this new discovery is going to increase our output, means that we need to rechannel some of this output to BOST. And when we do that, it means that we are creating jobs and also redirect some products from Thor to the downstream. And that means that we're adding value, and value addition to our product also means creating jobs for the teeming youth who may not have jobs. And also the oil income, we need to critically look at the 919 or 873, which is Petroleum Revenue Management Act. I think that when you look at that particular act carefully, it doesn't do us good because the act mentions a lot of areas that we need to invest in. And these areas, based on PIAC reports, have not yielded the kind of investment we need. I think that we need to have certain specific 4 key areas, whether agro-processing, so that we use the funds from our upstream, direct them to agro-processing or any other infrastructure development or any other investment that will yield job creation as well as promote certain development in our country.
Now, from over 100 schools at the zonal level to just 2 finalists, the 2025 edition of the Love FM High School Debate has come to a thrilling end, crowning Prempeh College as champions after narrowly edging out defending champions Kumasi High School. Our reporter Irabna Akwe caught up with both teams after the grand finale.
The future of our nation depends on the character of its people. And we must start with the one stopping the fake document, collecting the rights, and yet showing up a church on Sunday to shout Holy Ghost fire when the only fire we should be talking about is the one they have used to cook this township. When it is campaigning time, these politicians sit on national TV and radio to tell us that, oh, they are humble and they are ready to say it. But the moment they win power, then suddenly they are holding marches to peace. No, suddenly their children are studying in European countries and they come and sit in this hard economy with you and me, clean their mouths, and they keep quiet about where the money came from.
Electric atmosphere right here at the Christian Service University, where the finals of the Love FM High School Debates just ended. Well, defending champions Kumasi High could not defend their title today, and I am here with them right now. They actually came in second place, and I think they've done incredibly well. Hi, how do you feel right now?
I'm okay.
You are just okay, nothing else?
No.
Okay, defending champions, what do you think went wrong today?
Oh, actually everything was on point, but you see, after all, the Lord decides. So we are grateful. Even how far the Lord have brought us, we are much grateful. And we pray that next year we are coming with much vim, with much enthusiasm like this year also.
So this automatically means you qualify into the competition next year. How should Ghanaians prepare for you guys?
Okay, please, we are telling Ghanaians to wait for us. We are going to give an exuberant performance next year because we are seeded school. We are coming because we have strong team. I mean the Form 2, they are also there too. We are preparing them so that we give exuberant performance if God willing next year.
All right, they are preparing for next year. I have here with me a mouthful. They just dethroned Kumasi High School. Well, it's actually interesting. I've seen them from the zonals right to the preliminary stages, to the round of 16, to the quarterfinals, semifinals, and they have won today. I mean, this is their second time, making them 2-time champions.
Before I start, I would like to thank the Almighty God. As you said, you've been with us from zonals, prelims, round of 16, semi, quarter, and now finals, and now the champions. It's not a small journey, but I feel amazed, very excited, and glory be to God.
Well, after this contest, all we can say is that we are products of grace. We came this far by God. From zonals, prelims, round of 16, quarterfinals, semi-finals. We will be lying if we said that we came by our own might. We will be lying if we said that we are good on our own just because we can write rebuttals or we are good presenters. We are here because God brought us this far. And we want to tell the entire world that God is Prempeh College. They
want to tell the entire world that God is Prempeh College. Well, this is the end of the Love FM High School debate. Thank you so much for staying with us. My name is Rabna Akwe reporting for Joy News, and we will let the Amanfoɔ share some more.
Well, from the high school debate to the National Science and Maths quiz, because it's a historic start to the 2025 Central Regional Qualifiers of the competition, as Mankasim Secondary Technical School qualifies for the very first time and in dramatic fashion at the SGSS Auditorium on the University of Cape Coast campus. 5 schools battled for supremacy. But it's Mankasim, a school that shocked the audience by overtaking leaders of the first 3 rounds since State College in the final riddle to grab the first slot of the competition. Here's a report by my colleague Ato Essien.
It's the 2025 National Science and Maths Quiz Regional Qualifiers, and we are here at the Central Region. The first contest has just come to an end with Mankasim Secondary Technical School emerging winner. Now, this contest was very intensive. It was dicey, as it looked like their closest contender was winning. But just in the final round, that's the riddles round, they just emerged out like lilies, like daisies, and then they aced the riddles and they've won. Now they've qualified not only to the regionals but in the national championship as well. So I'm here with them. I know they're excited. We want to get exactly how they're feeling. How are you feeling?
Like, I'm feeling super califragilisticexpialidocious. I'm feeling wonderful. Like, I'm happy. Yes, I'm happy. Yes, I'm really, really happy. Yes.
Know your contenders. It looked as if they were almost winning. As at round 3.
Through our prayer that we stand firm and always to make sure we are learning, consistent practice, makes man perfect. So what you are seeing.
And put in mind that the Lord is always the first. So once He's the first, He's with us, and we are always going to win.
The battle is with God. The battle is with God. We are making it to the final.
Yes, we are going to. First phase. We are coming next time to give you out our best. We are giving out our best.
We want the world to see my style, and the image of my style. Yeah, we want the world.
Support. Okay, beautiful. I have one of their teachers here. They were hailing him when they were bringing him. Looks like he has a lot of fans. Sir, how are you feeling? I know you're excited, but first of all, I want you to tell me how you're feeling, and also when your students, as at round 3, it didn't look as if they were going to win. I mean, was the school, Essien State College, was leading us at round 3. It took the riddles for you to overtake them with 2 points. How did you do it? And doesn't that scare you?
You see, imagine you are being buried under a snow alive. That's how I was feeling. Okay, when at that stage we just need a point to overtake Essien State. In fact, it was God. The journey has been very, very long. Very, very, very long. And today, He has shown that the God is from Mankasim Senior High.
So Mankasim Secondary Technical School is their first time qualifying to battle in the regional championship. Of course, they've also secured a spot in the national championship. Today, they did exceptionally well, ending the contest with a whole 47 points, beating their closest contenders with 2 points. Now, they have won. They have secured their first slot. We're looking forward to seeing other schools who secure other spots in the 2025 Regional Championship. My name is Ato Essien for Joy News.
Well, the excitement is indeed on, and stay with Joy News, and we'll bring you more across the regions as we build up to the National Championship. And that's what we have for you today with the bulletin. My name is Razak Musbah, but we have more stories for you on myjoyonline.com. Please do head there, but do stay tuned to Joy News because we've got so much more coming up for you.